How about them dogs, baby? 2025 SEC champions finally downed Alabama and Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I just could not be happier. Obviously, I made a video in my truck last night after the game. Was beyond excited. I was just thrilled, man. I've got to be honest with you guys. Out of all my years of being a Georgia fan, all my time watching Georgia football, that one last night ranks number one for me out of all the games I've ever seen us play. And I know a lot of people will probably disagree with that. I'm just saying, for me, personally, for personal reasons, that was my favorite Georgia win of all time. And, I think it's because, a lot of the heartbreak that we've experienced at the hands of Alabama, just going back through it, I was just looking, before I started this video, just made some notes of everything that, Georgia missed out on because of Alabama, and just going through it. The 2012 SEC championship game was a neck-and-neck game, hard-hitting, close game, went back and forth. Some bad calls went Georgia's way. Georgia didn't execute at the end, had a tip ball that landed in Chris Conley's hands, ended in disaster. So 2012 cost us the SEC championship and the national championship. You fast forward to 2017, Kirby Smart's second year, Georgia wins the SEC championship. Alabama sneaks in, didn't even win the conference, somehow got in at the 4 spot, beats the hell out of, I think it was Clemson. Georgia beats Oklahoma. We have to play Alabama in the 2017 national championship game. And the story there was Georgia is demolishing them in the first half. And then Jalen Hurts is so ineffective that Nick Saban pulls Jalen out and goes with somebody that we've never even heard of, this Tua Tagovailoa guy, who comes in the second half and torches us. Passing the ball totally changes the game. And then we got him backed up, 2nd and 17, and we all know what happens from there. That one was heartbreaking. Then you turn around, and a very inspired Georgia team that wanted revenge, a lot of those same players, came back, rematched against them again in the 2018 SEC championship. And Georgia is getting after Tua's ass in this game. Again, Georgia is handling business, dominating the game. Jalen Hurts then comes in for an injured Tua and leads Alabama to victory. Another just heartbreaking game. That 2018 game cost us an SEC championship and knocked us out of the playoff. That 2018, what we lose by 3 or 4, knocked us out of the playoff because we lost to Alabama. 2021, they cost us an SEC championship. We ended up rematching against them in the national championship, and I know a lot of Georgia fans are going to say, oh, that was my favorite game. That was our best team ever. That was my favorite Georgia win, is when Georgia beat them in Indianapolis. Listen, I understand all of that. I'm just saying, for me, personally, this win last night, to me, it just means more than that. Georgia finally beat them in an SEC championship game in Atlanta. Something about that 2021 national championship, for me, just it doesn't sit all the way right with me, because one, they boat raced us in Atlanta, right? And then two, and I'm not taking anything away from this. I'm just saying I like this team more. I like this year's team more than the 2021 team. And the playing in Indianapolis, only being able to beat them up north. I don't know, just something about not being able to beat them in Atlanta for all these years. So in 2021, they cost us an SEC championship. The 2022 team, in my opinion, is the best Georgia team I've ever seen play. I thought the 2022 team was a step above the 2021 team. And I know there was a lot of talent on that 21 team, but the 22 team didn't get boat raced by anybody. We were slapping folks around all season long. Beat a really talented Ohio State team in Atlanta in the Peach Bowl to advance to the national championship game, and then put the most lopsided national championship game in history in the books. That 2022 team, just an incredible, and they were smacking people all season long. All right, so 2022, our best team ever, we didn't play. I think the 2022 team was better than the 2021 team. That's just my opinion. You can have your own opinion as well. The 2023 year, we played them in the SEC championship game. Georgia undefeated for 3 seasons, back-to-back, defending national champions, number 1 in the country, going into Atlanta to play an Alabama team. Nick Saban's last year. Georgia plays tight as hell in this game. Loses the turnover battle again. Alabama ends up winning that 2023 game. And I think that one cost us at minimum an SEC championship. Like, man, that 2023 Georgia team was good as well. I would have liked Georgia's chances better at beating Michigan than Alabama's. So possibly another SEC, or definitely an SEC championship, possibly a national championship, and a three-peat in 2023. So just the combination of all of that stuff happening in Atlanta and having to hear this Alabama narrative nonstop, going all the way back to 2012, I can remember, Georgia can't beat Alabama. Alabama's got Georgia's number. Like, to finally beat them, and not just beat them, blow them out in Atlanta in an SEC championship game meant the world to me. Like, man, this season already at this point is a success to me at this point. Like, Georgia is now playing with house money for me. You know, I didn't think this Georgia team was capable of winning a national championship early on this season. I really didn't. I thought there were too many pieces, too many holes to fill that I was unsure of. And they just have continued to get better and better and better. So Georgia has already exceeded my expectations. I picked Georgia to go 10-2 and to go to the SEC championship. I don't know if I picked if they would win it or not. I don't believe I did. But I thought that Georgia was going to lose to Alabama in the regular season and Auburn in the regular season. They lost to Alabama, but they beat Auburn. And now we've beaten Alabama in an SEC championship game. So Georgia has beaten everybody they've played on their schedule this season. We finished with the 3rd seed, 12-1 SEC champions. Man, and it's a hell of a feeling. And I just want to say this to Paul Feinbaum. First of all, Tennessee should take any accolades, any degree that Paul Feinbaum has from the University of Tennessee for being the biggest Alabama homer that I've ever seen, that didn't graduate, has no affiliation to Alabama. He's worse than these snotty-nosed ass kids here in Cobb County who have no ties to Alabama, that were all Tim Tebow fans in middle school, but somehow once Nick Saban got to Alabama and Alabama started winning, that, you know, they all become Alabama fans because some mysterious uncle nobody ever heard of before went to Alabama or graduated from Alabama. I can't tell you guys how many times I heard that shit growing up. Well, why are you an Alabama fan? You live in Georgia. Well, my uncle went to Alabama. I had to hear that my entire life. Just craziness. The amount of Alabama fans and flags that popped up here in the metro Atlanta area once Nick Saban got there and Alabama started winning. It's like they just popped up and teleported out of nowhere because they were non-existent before that time period. But Paul Feinbaum earlier today, before the rankings came out, really downplaying Georgia's win in the SEC championship game, talking about he was in the stadium and yeah, the scene was fun and the crowd was electric, but there was some luster lost on this game and how Alabama shouldn't be left out, even though they took a 21-point ass whooping at the hands of Georgia. Bama shouldn't be punished for losing their conference championship game after the season they had. First of all, dog, Georgia got left out of this playoff at least 3 times for losing their conference championship game. 2 of them to Alabama by a field goal. The 2023 Georgia team hadn't lost a game in 36, 39 games, was back-to-back defending national champions, lost to Bama by a field goal, and dropped from number 1 to 6. From 1 to 6 after going undefeated for 3 straight regular seasons. Undefeated all through the regular season, all through the playoff, back-to-back national championships, 3 years of an undefeated SEC schedule. They dropped us from 1 to 6. 6 for a 3-point loss to Bama. So you can miss me with any sympathy whatsoever if Bama would have got left out of this playoff for getting the absolute brakes beat off of them. Physically, this entire ball game, Georgia punished Alabama so bad to the point that their quarterback started taking a knee instead of going head up with somebody and trying to get yards, trying to go out of bounds, or taking a hit, throwing it out of bounds. He slides down and takes a knee because Georgia was whooping that ass so goddamn bad the entire game. We made them quit. So you can miss me with, this game lost a little bit of luster, and it just doesn't mean what it mean. Why did it mean what it used to, Paul? Because Bama got the doors blown off of them? Is that why? Because all the times that Georgia got left out, losing to Bama by a field goal, everything was all good. But when the roles are reversed, and the biggest margin of victory in the Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Kalen DeBoer era, the largest margin of victory, 21 points by Georgia, when the shoe's on the other foot, you can't withstand the consequences of losing the conference championship. Only difference is you didn't lose by a field goal. You got your ass blown out. Got stomped. And that's not even the entire story. What nobody talks about. Bama also lost to Oklahoma, okay? That's excusable. The one that nobody talks about, you got blown out, mollywopped, wiped clean off the field by a trash can Florida State team. Hot ass Florida State team. That is garbage, and they dog-walked you the first game of the season. Alabama has the worst loss in the playoff. So Paul Feinbaum running his mouth leading up to the rankings reveal was some straight bullshit. Talking about the SEC championship doesn't mean what it used to because his precious Alabama Crimson Tide didn't win it. I guarantee you if Bama wouldn't have won it, Georgia wasn't going to stay in the same spot. Never has. Anytime Bama's always beaten us, we've always dropped significantly. But Georgia opens up a can of whoop ass. A 21-point victory, and it should have been 28 if it wasn't for DeMello Jones punching the dude at midfield and the referees being Alabama's best blocker of the day on the Jeremy Bernard touchdown. Georgia would have shut their ass out. Shut them clean out. 28-zip is what it should have been. That shit pissed me off so bad. Paul Feinbaum running his mouth, talking about this one doesn't mean as much. Yeah, because nobody had the balls to drop your precious Crimson Tide out of the playoff, even though they probably should have been. -3 rush yards. Georgia physically dominated and bullied Alabama this entire game. The Alabama offense looked incompetent. And I just got way too worked up. I wasn't planning on getting worked up at all in this video. But that shit pissed me off. Paul Feinbaum running his mouth talking about this one didn't mean as much. Why? Why didn't this one mean as much, Paul? Because Georgia finally won one against Bama? That makes it mean that much more to me and to everybody else in Dog Nation. I can't stand his ass sometimes. All right, let's get into this game. Let's get into this game, man. I hope you guys bear with me through that. That just really rubbed me the wrong way. That instead of congratulating Georgia for doing something we've never done after all this whole first part of this journal, of this page right here, is Georgia heartbreak to Alabama. The entire first half of this page of notes. That's one thing, man. People don't understand the pain and agony that Dog Nation has been through. Unless you're a Georgia fan, man, you just don't know. You just don't know the amount of pain and hard times that we've went through. Being so close and on the cusp of breaking through to a national championship and sitting here competing with Alabama once Kirby got there for the standard of college football, for the best team in college football, all those SEC championships, all those national championships, and being this close, and then it's snatched away from you in the last second, man, it was like being stabbed in the chest by Michael Myers time, year after year after year after year is what it was like. It was so difficult to make it through those times as a Georgia fan. That pain, man, lives with you forever. forever. Like, I will never forget any of these games that I just talked about. 2012, 2017, 2018 SEC Championship, 2021 SEC Championship, the 2023 SEC. I will never forget how that felt on all of those days. I remember specifically how I felt on each of those days. And just for him to downplay that shit pissed me off. All right. So getting into this game, I hope you guys are still with me after that. This was really telling, man. Like, going into this game, I saved my notes from the video that I did leading into the game where I said, I think Georgia is due for a win in this series, and I think Georgia's going to win this game 26-20 is what I said leading into this game and the video that I did pregame. And I've got my keys to the game listed here. And it said, Georgia has lost the turnover battle in every single game since 2023. Must win the turnover battle. Georgia did that. They were +1, maybe you want to say +2 with the block punt. I don't know if you guys count that or not. I mean, I count it as a turnover on downs. I don't know if I count it as a true takeaway. So Georgia will give them +2 in the turnover battle. I put especially cannot give Bama the ball deep in our own end for any cheap points. Like, how many times, guys, have we seen that in Georgia-Bama games where we turn the ball over? Not only turn the ball over and that be bad enough, but we turn it over at like the 15, the Georgia 35. Carson, I can think of Carson Beck turned it over a couple of times, and Tuscaloosa deep in our own end. It's hard to overcome that stuff. I put must make plays when the opportunity is there. No drops. I think of the wide open drops that I've seen in these Georgia-Bama games time and time again. The one that I saw, Dylan Bell had a big time catch in the end zone. I've seen that pass drop before. The Lawson Lucky where he was wide open, kind of wiggled out there into the flat and then turned upfield when they did the fake Zachariah Branch screen. That one was up in the air forever. I've seen that one, it just seems like dropped so many times in this Georgia-Bama game. So no drops, no turnovers, no turning the ball over in our own end. Must get Ty Simpson's ass on the ground in this game and heat his ass up. Make him feel you even if you don't get to him. Man, Georgia, A+ in that one right there, brother. Like, Georgia was coming downhill with bad intentions towards the quarterback all game long. And I'll get to this point that I wrote down right here right now. I said Kirby Smart learned from not only the first game in Athens, but the Oklahoma game and the Auburn games as well. Watching that film from Oklahoma and from Auburn, Kirby saw, listen, like, we got to heat this guy up and get him off his spot. We can't just drop and sit back in soft-ass coverage and not get home on this guy. He's a totally different quarterback under pressure. And Kirby dialed it up. We came after him, and we got to him. And even when we didn't get to him, he felt us. That was a huge difference in the game. This dude was uncomfortable and busted up all game long. All game long, he was getting hit. And that Gabe Harris hit at the beginning of the game where Ty tried that, the zone read or whatever, didn't hand the ball off, tried to take it back up the middle. Gabe Harris was right there to crush his face and plant him into the turf. Huge momentum play. Out execute Bama and no penalties. We failed on that. We were heavily penalized. And then win the coaching battle and have a better plan. Those were my notes. Keys to the victory for Georgia in this SEC championship game. And let's get into this. So these are the post-game notes. Georgia wins the turnover battle. Georgia wins special teams. Georgia won third down. Georgia won fourth down. Georgia won the rushing battle by a heavy margin. Bama was -3 rushing, was not able to run the ball, really wasn't able to pass protect with the running backs either. The absence of Jam Miller played a big part in that. Jam Miller, listen, he's not the most explosive, I'm going to go get you yards and have a field day running back, but he is their best pass protection running back. So Georgia exposed that, took advantage of that. Gunner outplayed Ty Simpson. The disrespect that Gunner has been shown this season by the national media, but even going back to before the season started, about how Arch Manning had done nothing, zero accomplishments, absolutely nothing, and was being the number one draft pick, the Heisman Trophy winner. Gunner Stockton was never even mentioned in any of that. And then I didn't think Gunner played bad in the first Alabama game. We were a drop pass away from winning that game. Gunner put it right on him. Played great in that game, given that it was his fourth start against a really good SEC defense with a ton of pressure on him. A ton of pressure on him from the Bulldog Nation. Like, man, the atmosphere in that place was tense in September. I'm telling y'all, like, Dog Nation wanted that one bad. It was a lot. It was a lot. And then the final note, Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, and Mike Bobo put on a clinic against the Alabama coaching staff. Kirby and Schumann dialed it up. I thought Bobo had a really good plan. And again, a lot of run plays that we had not seen yet so far at this point in the season. I can think of the one where London Humphreys pulled from the right side, came all the way over and had the lead block for the Nate Frazier touchdown. And then the running plays where we would act like we were going to hand it off this way, swing all the way around and hand it off the other way. I thought those were interesting. I definitely thought those were an interesting mix-up, something else that they have to, these other teams are going to have to game plan for. So Georgia learned from their mistakes in the first game. We learned from the Auburn and Oklahoma game plans, and we came after Ty Simpson, and we got to him, man. That defense has improved so much from early on in the season. Like, we had no pass rush whatsoever at the beginning of the season. And now we had 3 sacks are really affecting the quarterback. And I also want to talk about this, guys. Once Georgia, let me touch on this first. I believe, it is my opinion, that since the start of the 2021 regular season, when Jordan Davis and all those seniors came back in 2021, it is my opinion, just my opinion, that from that point on, from the 2021 regular season onwards to this day, Georgia has been the better college football program than Alabama. Now, that hasn't always showed up when we have played them, but if you look at accomplishments, if you look at regular season wins, if you look at SEC wins, games against common SEC opponents, amount of players put into the NFL, just success on the field overall, playoff runs, national championships, SEC championships. I felt like Georgia was the better program, and we just could not get over the hump of beating Alabama when we got matched up against them. Even though I felt like we were the better team, a lot of the times we got matched up against them, we would always play freaking tight and let the game come to us instead of attacking. And that wasn't the case in this game. Once Georgia blocked that punt, this team believed they could do it. Once the team believed that we could do it and we saw Alabama bleeding, it was like the whole team just looked and was like, oh my God, we punched them in the nose and their nose started bleeding. Like, they're human. They are mortal. We can get after these boys and assert our will on them, just like we do the entire rest of the SEC, just like we do against every other SEC team. We can bully these boys. If we play our game, we can go out here and dominate these boys and make them quit. Georgia turned it up a notch. And then we had I want to say this too. I'm so happy for Rod Robinson getting that touchdown, that first touchdown, coming out of the fullback spot, scrambling out, catching that touchdown. He's been hurt, riddled with injuries. I've seen him at so many Georgia games. I'll be walking down the sideline. I would see Robinson sitting on the sideline, number 0. Big, good-looking running back, man. He looked good against Florida State when he got in the Orange Bowl. And he's just been riddled with injuries. He's almost left to the portal so many times. So I was thrilled, man, thrilled to see that player get in the end zone to put Georgia up 7-0. Thrilled for him. I made that my cover photo or whatever on Facebook. I'm so happy for that kid, man. But once the Dalen Everett interception happened, the belief got ratcheted up a whole nother notch. Once Dalen picked it off and we had the ball and went in to score and went up 14-0, bro, that shit was over. Because then the whole team really believed we are going to win this game. And that's what was missing in all the other Bama games. We weren't taking it to them. They were taking it to us. And imagine that. You win the turnover battle. You win special teams. You put touchdowns on the board when you get an opportunity and you capitalize. You make them tighten up. And that's how we played. Every time we played them, we've always been the team that played tight. And they would always capitalize off our mistakes. Not this time. Georgia took it to them. The most lopsided win in the Kirby Smart versus Alabama series belongs to these dogs. That's how big of a deal this is. Finally, we're able to beat them in our state's capital. All the bad feelings I've ever felt, this almost makes up for it. Like this feeling that I have right now, we are SEC champions. We beat Bama in Atlanta, punished them, made them quit. A 21-point victory. We're the number 3 seed going to the playoff, 12-1, and we have beat every team we played this season. We have beat them. There is something to be said for that. There is something to be said for that. And there is something to be said about this SEC championship. And a couple more things I just want to say. I made it over to Kangaroo Black's channel. Somebody tagged me in one of his videos leading up to the game and said, hey, Georgia people, what do you guys think about this? And they tagged a bunch of us. And I went over there, and he was talking about the game. And I like Kangaroo Black. I think he's extremely fair as far as talking about these Georgia-Alabama games over the year. Extremely reasonable person. But he was talking about, like, who are Georgia's playmakers? And he just kind of went down the line. And I remember when he got to C.J. Allen, and he was like, man, don't even tell me about C.J. Allen. He was like, C.J. Allen is a joke. Same thing about Ellis Robinson III. He said, I like his stats and all, but I don't really think he's a game changer. And talked about our tight ends, talked about Nate Frazier, and just kind of was like, none of these guys really scare me at all. Like, I'm not worried about this game. He's like, all we got to do is show up, and we'll dominate y'all. That's what we do. And honestly, like, that's how I would have felt, too, if I was a Bama fan. That's how I feel every time we go play Tennessee. That's how I feel every time we go play Florida. I feel like, man, we're dominating this series. We mentally own them. So that's how he's supposed to feel. But to see C.J. Allen have that hit on the tight end that forced that drop or fumble, whatever you want to call it, on the 3rd and 2 when we were up 21-7, Bama was, there was 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. C.J. Allen lays the flumber to that tight end, makes him cough the ball up. Very next play, 4th and 2. Ty Simpson throws the ball out of bounds. Out of bounds. How do you throw the ball out of bounds as a quarterback on 4th and 2? You don't even give your guy a chance to catch it. At least put it near him so you can possibly draw an interference. He throws the ball out of bounds on a 4th and 2. How do you do that as a quarterback in your 13th start of the season in the SEC Championship on 4th and 2? You throw it out of bounds. That's man. Woo! That's unbelievable. You ain't never seen Gunnar Stockton do nothing like that. Now, come on. You've never seen Gunnar do no shit like that. He might take a bad sack and waddle around back there like a stagnant duck for a while and then fall forward with both hands on the football and no speed and fall in the middle of the pile near the line of scrimmage. But you ain't never seen Gunnar throw the ball out of bounds on a 4th and 2. Never. Man, to see these guys step up, man. Dylan Bell, dog, steps up. Big time plays in this game, man. And a huge touchdown. Didn't drop it. Georgia's catching the ball. Like I said in the pregame, no daggum drops in this game. I didn't see us drop the ball. Zachariah Branch comes up huge for us guys. Every single time he's called upon. Dog, this guy comes up big time for us. Our most explosive playmaker, he has to touch the ball more in the playoff. He has to touch the ball more. We have got to find a way to get him the ball more besides at the line of scrimmage. We've got to be able to find him downfield. You can't tell me that a guy that's that fast doesn't have the ability to get open deep down the field, over the middle of the field, on corner routes, on comebacks, something. We've got to find a way besides right at the line of scrimmage to get Zach Branch the ball. Noah Thomas didn't even play. Unbelievable. So I don't want to hear shit from the Bama fans about injuries. Our starting center was injured. Our leading wide receiver was injured. Our safety was injured. Our star, Dinkins, Rayshawn Dinkins comes in and makes his first start as a freshman at the star position. Janelle Aguero didn't even play. Our best player on the D-line, Jordan Hall, is out. I'm damn choking up here. I lost my voice yesterday. We had players out too, man. I don't want to hear shit about the injuries from Bama. Nothing. Because the key matchup y'all talked about in this game that was going to be the difference in this game was Tim Keenan was going to feast on Malachi Tolliver. He made a few plays against him, but Tolliver stepped up big time for the Dogs and led us to a victory. Yeah, he got beat a couple of times, but he played winning football, man, and was able to do enough. The Georgia O-line was able to do enough to get us that win. It wasn't no huge mismatch like Bama said it was going to be, so I don't want to hear nothing about the injuries. Nothing. C.J. Allen, Raylan Wilson, Chris Cole all made huge plays, huge tackles in this game. Rayshawn Dinkins gets his first start at the star position. I was sitting there wondering I'm like, who the hell is 27 and where's Aguero? Ja'Cory Thomas comes back and plays hurt. Zayden Walker, number 10, another freshman, in on a lot of pass rush. Man, these might be the two most improved players. I got to put Ellis Robinson in there as well, though. Gabe Harris and Quintavious Johnson were really impressive in this SEC championship game. But Ellis Robinson, the third, also has made massive, massive strides this season. We have had so many players improve and play really good football on this defense, and we've done what Kirby asked since we lost that Bama game. We keep getting better, and we keep getting better, and we're going like this, and Bama was going like this, and I just knew, it was a matter of time. Georgia has been the better program. Georgia clearly, anybody with eyes watching this season, Georgia has been clearly the better team all season against common opponents, SEC opponents, out-of-conference opponents, running the football, quarterback play, whatever you want to say. Bama could have gave Bama a little bit of the edge on the defense, saying their defense was better than our defense, at least until yesterday. Georgia's defense clearly better. I just knew, the law of averages, the better team can't lose this many times. They're eventually going to get one. And we got one. We got one yesterday, guys. And it's so sweet. This is the sweetest Georgia Bulldog victory I have ever experienced as a Georgia fan. Better than the national championship in 22. Better than the national championship in 21. And like I said, it's for personal reasons. But beating Alabama in Atlanta, man, getting that monkey off our back, and beating the Alabama Crimson Tide in Atlanta for an SEC championship, our arch nemesis, someone who's taken so much from us, to be able to get this SEC championship, that I somewhat wish we would have knocked them out of the playoff, but that is what it is. I don't think the flaw is the thing that's wrong with the playoff is Jamu and daggum Tulane shouldn't be in. Hell no, man, stop that. Stop it. Notre Dame should be in and Texas should be in. Man, I think these group of 5 teams shouldn't be in here. Man. It should be the 12 best teams, period. And of course we don't get that. We never do. But this game's just so sweet, man. Georgia, 2025 SEC champions, opened up a can of whoop ass on the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm so proud of them. I'm so happy. This is the happiest victory I ever could have asked for this season. And I did not expect this to come full circle like this. But our Dogs get revenge on Alabama, win the SEC, back-to-back SEC champions. We got a bye. Looks like we're going to be playing Ole Miss once they beat Tulane. We'll get into all that once we get there. I'm going to enjoy this one, man. I'm going to go watch this Georgia-Alabama game again. I could not be prouder of them. Could not be happier. Dog Nation showed up and showed out. I'm hard on the Georgia fans when they need to hear it. If you don't perform at an elite level, but you're there to complain and bitch about every little thing that Bobo does wrong, like, man, you got to be held accountable too. And Dog Nation, the Georgia fans, showed up and showed out at Mercedes-Benz yesterday. So hats off to Dog Nation. Salute to you guys. Everybody that believed Georgia was going to get this win, man. Georgia did it. And it is a proud, happy weekend for Dog Nation. And enjoy it for a whole 3 weeks or whatever it is until we play Ole Miss, because Dog Nation deserves that win. And the feeling that we got right now has been a long time coming against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Dog Nation, I love you guys, and I will be back with more videos as we lead into the Ole Miss or Tulane. Hey, whoever they want to put in front of us, pick them out, line them up, and we'll knock them down. Because I ain't scared of no Indiana, no Ohio State, no Texas Tech, Oregon, nobody at this point. We just beat Bama in Atlanta for the SEC championship. And the way Ohio State looked last night, I damn sure ain't scared of them. I'm chomping at the bit to get after that Ohio State O-line after what I saw Indiana do to them last night. I would love to see Georgia's front seven get after Julian Sayin, because we would have a field day getting after his ass. Let's go, Dogs. Enjoy this one. Love you guys. I'll see you again soon. Go, Dogs.